Mates, this side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. Standing today around 4:30 a.m. Singapore timing, we are going to be shooting a video about a topic whereby Treasury Consulting Group forecasted long ago, and now our beloved media is started acknowledging that fact. There are two kind of forecasters we have across the globe. One kind of forecasters which go with the herd, which is herd mentality. Example, one credit rating agencies downgrade one company and everybody is starting downgrading the same company. One country credit rating will go one notch up, everybody will give one notch up. One country may be moving towards default of the debt, everyone projecting default of the debt. Another kind of forecasters are there, those who come in the public domain much before then the thing is going to get happen. Example, when everyone was praising SoftBank, Treasury Consulting came in public domain in 2018 and forecasted that the SoftBank mess is round the corner. No one ever thought about Yes Bank. We came in public domain and said that Yes Bank would default. And there are many examples in that regards. Now, when our beloved media is giving a hype about the IPO, initial public offering of the so-called unicorns in India, Treasury Consulting coming in public domain and saying that this hype would cost several $1 million to the young investors known as young millennials. Reason? Young millennials, I'm sure many of them will invest in these startups without even looking at the financial disclosure. And what would be the end result? Everyone understand very well. 1 month ago, Treasury Consulting shot a video, and this video was about continuing decrease in the interest rate in India and the negative repercussion of the same. But before I elaborate this topic, I would like to speak something almost same perspective but in a different angle. When the world financial crisis happened in 2008, almost every central bank, Federal Reserve, ECB, Bank of Japan, Reserve Bank of Australia, almost everyone started cutting the rates. This action continued till 2012 and 13. And by the time 2013 came, rather than resolving the problem, rather than addressing the real issue of mortgages and unnecessarily leverages created on the mortgages, central bank created humongous balance sheets across the globe, and the end result is that to sustain these balance sheets, they have to adopt which is known as NIRP, negative interest rate policy. The result is right upfront us. When in Japan, Swiss franc, euro, Australian dollar, and almost many currencies across the globe are facing negative interest rate policy. Many of us do not have an access to Reuters and Bloomberg. And the hard reality of the fact is that such terminals are very expensive and they are not in the public domain. Since they are not in the public domain, we are living in a world of theory. Because if you look at Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar forward curve, which is ranging from 1 month or maybe 1 week to 1 to 5 years, you will feel that Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar forward curve is already crashed. But it is quite surprising for me, in fact much surprising for me, that even on the Bloomberg TV I have not seen any deliberation on that topic. Rather, I haven't seen a single person who is talking about the crash of the Australian dollar forwarding curve. The crash of the Australian dollar forwarding curve, according to me, is more dangerous than the impact of coronavirus we have in Australia. Australia is already in recession. That is official now. And I strongly feel that this recession would continue for Australia, and this recession might take longer than expected time as forecasted by Reserve Bank of Australia. No one anticipated that. I'm sure maybe 1 year ahead, maybe 1 year down the line, 1.5 years, maybe 2 years down the line, some economist will come and he will raise an issue on the Australian dollar zero curve. We can term this as a zero curve, and then media will say master stroke, as usual. Today I am going to deliberate something which I envisaged 1 month ago. We made a video 1 month ago, and now we got the fact. So this is a newspaper which is 16th September 2020. We all understand that coronavirus is having a deep and denting impact on the Indian economy. Well, from the central government side, the government and the Prime Minister sir is trying extremely hard to make sure that stimulus come each and every segment of the society. But having said that, the government also having its own limitations. And I really don't think that government is having enough time to address these limitations as well. But government is trying whatever best government can do. There are various things which are coming in the media that government is planning to sell few public sector undertakings to make them more efficient. Government is inviting, private public partnership. Government is raising some money. Government is also thinking about stimulus second. As of now, we really do not know what would be the quantum, but quantum supposed to be somewhere between 3 to 5% of the GDP. This is my forecast. Maybe it is less, maybe it is more. The final call is definitely the government call. In all these regards, Employee Provident Fund Organization, our leading organization or a corporation in India who is handling the pension money. And now Employee Provident Fund Organization is facing something which is being envisaged by Treasury Consulting long ago, and that is a huge asset liability mismatch. And if it is not a huge asset liability mismatch, then it would be huge very soon. But before I deliberate further, let me explain this for you. As interest rate in India trend lower, the spread between interest rate on the Employee Provident Fund and the 10-year G-Sec, which is also known as pseudo-sovereign curve. The hard reality is that India as of now do not have any sovereign yield curve. 10-year yield curve is considered as a pseudo yield curve. Reuters is having a forum which is, I think, Trading India. Similar, this forum is managed by somebody, but every time in this forum I try raise the issue that 10-year is a pseudo curve. It is not a perfect curve. Example, in US we have non-pseudo curves, which means that if Fed makes some change, then this change will address the whole market. RBI himself acknowledged several times that if RBI cut the rate by 25 bips, then it will not reach to the end user. It will reach 5 bips, 10 bips, 15 bips. Or if RBI increase the rate by 25 bips, then the end user will pay more than 25 bips. The difference is known as pass-through mechanism. To make any monetary policy successful, one thing which is very important is the pass-through mechanism. And the failure of the pass-through mechanism will reflect on the central bank of that government. Now, Employee Provident Fund Organization is giving a rate of around 8.5% for fiscal year 20, while the 10-year is very closer to 6%, which means that there is a spread of around 2.5%. The highest spread was 130 bips since 1971. So means the benchmark has crossed. Now this 2.5 is creating an asset liability mismatch, and that can only be countered using a concept called immunization. I am 200% sure that 90% of the people, those who are watching this video, they even do not know the meaning of immunization. and neither this media know. Like now, let me tell you, before I explain immunization, let me show you how intelligent are the people. A sharp decline would hit EPFO earnings on the fresh investment, but it has a large portfolio of the older investment made 6 to 7 years ago. When the bond yields were hovering around 8.5%, the net impact on the EPFO earning will depend on the breakup of old and new investments, says Madan Sabnivas, chief economist at Care Rating. I think Madan Sabnivas really don't understand the meaning of immunization. This is our media. That is the reason I always saying one thing. Nowadays, if you really wanted to decline your knowledge, then start reading business newspaper. And in fact, now I'm even now if somebody will come to me and say that, can you explain the difference between Times of India or Hindustan Times compared to business newspaper, I will say no difference. Because in fact, Times of India may be better than reading a business newspaper. Maybe you get something like dictionary, vocabulary, lexical knowledge more reading the Indian newspaper. But the story is not ending here. Story is that I will read for you. Give me 1 minute. Yes. The EPFO has a large corpus of retirement money which is augmented every year through new contribution. The majority of the accruing sums, 90% every year, is invested in the debt instrument, bonds sold by public sector undertakings, including some private sector bonds, 30% and something like that. The yield on all debt instrument closely follow the trajectory of a 10-year government. For example, the state government 10-year maturity is 6.65, while 10-year AAA corporate is around 6.9%. Hey guys, can I ask one question from EPFO? Let's take an example of a top bank, Goldman, JP, Standard Chartered, no, not Standard Chartered, Goldman and JP Morgan Chase. Guys, do you know why they are best? They are best because they have far dated immunization strategies. They are best because they cover their portfolio using humongous quantum of instruments. If I read this article even 5 times, I get a meaning that the EPFO is scheduled to give 8.5%, which I think EPFO will surely reduce next year because the yields are cutting, and more importantly, economy is looking for another stimulus. Maybe central government can announce another stimulus using various ways and means, but the point is there is a humongous pressure on RBI to cut the repo rate, which is standing 4%. And guys, if RBI cut the repo rate from 4% by 25 bips, which means they will take it down to 3.75%. And if it will come down to 3.75%, it would definitely impact the carry trade. It would definitely impact the FII's earning, and more importantly, the repo will very soon be closer to 3. Because coronavirus is not going anywhere. Stock markets are completely disintegrated from the reality, and I have not said that. Many leading economists have started saying right now. They have started saying right now the way stock markets are heading, they are completely disintegrated or disengaged from the reality. This would continue. But having said that, like I told you earlier also, Treasury Consulting talks fundamental, but when we take up positions in the market, we think like an operator. So today I am talking fundamental, that stock market is disintegrated from the reality. But tomorrow on Monday, when I take positions, I will think like an operator. I will think that whether operator will take a position in that stock. If yes, then at what level and why. Of course, fundamental component is always here in our research. And the end result, the hedge fund is generating more than 50% return per month. Not only in equities, but in the commodity section as well, we generate decent returns. Now the issue is that EPFO is not the only organization that is going to get hit. In India, there are many private and government companies, those who have those who outsourced their superannuation part, LTC, pension, provident fund and all, and they generally give this to mutual funds. There are many mutual funds, those who are into superannuation. You can open Google and check that many mutual funds are offering superannuation funds, and many public sector as well as private companies are giving their money to the superannuation. The issue is that these superannuation funds are generally 30% equity and 70% debt. By the way, in equity component, how much percentage return you generate, we know, because from the last 5 years, equity fund are generating the negative return. If you do not trust me, you go to Google and check yourself. Now the question is the debt piece. In the debt piece, the yields are following at a much faster pace. One cut from RBI and the yield on the 10-year so-called pseudo-sovereign curve will move closer to 5.5. And if this will happen, the mutual funds, those who are into the business of superannuation, apart from the business of liquid plus in the various fund category, they will also face the heat. Once they will face the heat will pass on to the P&L of that organization who invested in that fund. So I am giving an example. This is a pure example. If by chance it meets with that fund, it's just a coincidence. So assuming there is a company called X, they invest in any mutual fund, and suppose the investment is 100 crores. Initially, as of now, they are getting around 7.5% return, but due to the continuous decrease in the repo, the yields fall to 6%. Now the fresh contribution, what happened over the period of the time, once the firm invests in mutual funds, the interest which they receive from the mutual fund or dividend income they receive from mutual fund will sublet the fresh investment. So example, this X company invested 100 crores, and every year due to the fresh recruitment which is happening in the organization, there is an additional corpus of 10 crore which is required, assuming after 5 years, and this generally happens after 5 years, the dividend income always sublet or overshadow the fresh corpus. But if this spread would continue, I am telling you that this will not happen anymore, and this would have a denting impact on the P&L of the corporates. But guys, the hard reality is that we need to understand these things very strategically, and we need to understand these things very tactfully. In these articles, which comes in public domain, these articles not only lack knowledge, but they also lack the clarity. Example, in this whole article, the immunization is missing. In fact, the author Krishna Kant and Abhishek Wagmare, he himself do not know that there are two type of immunization. One is gross immunization and what is net immunization. Rather, they continuously mention the same thing, which is asset liability mismatch and all. Hey guys, asset liability mismatch is a subset of immunization. We need to understand that. Example, super over in any cricket match is a subset of one day. What is super over? If in a one day international a team score 300, another team score 300, it is a tie. Now what to do? Let's have a super over. And the super over will decide who will win. In this 1 hour, certain conditions, who will do better will declare as winner. So asset liability mismatch is a super over, while immunization is a one day international. If any Einstein, Edison and Newton is thinking that asset liability mismatch is a one day international, then I think I need to give him an open challenge, come and talk to me. But overall, the purpose of shooting this video is very clear, that whatever we envisaged in the form of immunization, it has started, and I have more worry. You open the diary and note the date on 20th September. In fact, it is practically 21st. I am telling you that very soon mutual funds in India will face a hard reality. And that hard reality is that funds might move from mutual funds to term deposit because the spread between the mutual fund and the term deposit would be extremely limited. It would be less than 1%, maybe less than 0.5%. The liquid fund category in India already at 4.5%. While the liquid plus is closer to 5.5%, the floating rate fund is closer to 6%. And I'm not quoting the name, but there are many banks in India, those who are still offering 6.5% of term deposit. How are they offering? How their immunization strategy works? This is something I cannot comment even after looking at the balance sheet, because the hard reality is that immunization disclosures never come in public domain. And our big fours, they never allow it to come in public domain. That is more important than the earlier statement. To conclude the discussion, one need to understand very carefully and strategically that COVID-19 not only having an impact on the globe, the unfortunate piece is around 30.5 million cases are there and growing. Many companies shut down. Like UK, we shot another video in UK. UK lost 7 lakh, which is 700,000, which is 70% of a million jobs during pandemic. But the mess is now COVID-19 started reflecting on the immunization strategies. But one thing, while I shot this video, I know very well that the best banks of the globe like Goldman, JP Morgan and all, they know how to handle this situation. Because they worked through this situation many times and every time they end up as a winner. And that is the reason why these banks were there, they are there, why they would be there, and never ever they reported losses. The young guns needs to understand that only reading this article will not serve the purpose. I would like to conclude this video with a beautiful line. One is data, one is knowledge, one is intellect, and one is wisdom, and the last is creation. This is data, and that too not appropriate. Forget knowledge, wisdom, intellect and creation. But I'm happy that millions and millions of young guns are reading this article and they are thinking they are in the right direction. And very soon they realize that immunization on which we are talking is not even bothered to mention. Authors not even bothered to mention this. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting. You know our WhatsApp 9818-485-155. Treasury Consulting publish 20 plus reports every day, and effective tomorrow, which is 21st September, in fact today, which is 21st September, Treasury Consulting started covering holistic outlook of Standard & Poor, Dow Jones and Nasdaq, the 3 leading indexes of United States of America. God willing, our next target is Canadian Bosses and British Bosses. Treasury Consulting is waiting for the coronavirus to end, which according to us might take another 3 to 4 years. Different medical professionals are having their different permutation combinations. We never disregard them, but this is our way of looking. Immediate after Corona, Treasury Consulting London and Treasury Consulting New York will come. You have any questions about our app, about our free reports, about our fixed income platform and about media, let me know. Before we close, Modabai, Kencho, have a great day. Thank you.